Good morning, Monday the 1st of November, 7:30 in the morning, and I'm looking at the DAX. Right, I'm going to actually start with a weekly chart. Let's get a good long-term perspective. So clearly DAX is in a bull trend, but what is going on here? Clearly this year we're very much in a sideways trend since the spring, and this is my concern. Are these head and shoulders patterns building? This really could be a very small left shoulder. This could be a very large head, and this could be now the right shoulder. Obviously, it depends on where we peak. If we continue up to retest the previous high, then it's not a right shoulder. Then the question is, do we get a double top pattern, which would be sort of at the trend line and at the previous high, and does the market collapse? Well, I'm jumping the gun, but if the market was to turn this week and start to head lower, and then maybe by the end of the month we were testing this neckline, potential neckline to a head and shoulders pattern, which is around 14,800, then we start breaking below there, and well, we're near the end of the year now, aren't we? If we close the year below that, that really would be a very important sell signal for the start of next year. Well, I'm jumping the gun. As I say, that pattern hasn't formed. We haven't even turned around for that right shoulder to form yet. And of course, a head and shoulders pattern is never confirmed until we've broken the neckline. So early days. There is even perhaps an argument that this is a head and shoulders pattern with a slightly more lopsided neckline on the daily chart, taking a bigger left shoulder here. So that would, the whole of the left shoulder would basically be from March, well, certainly April anyway. That would be a big right shoulder, a left shoulder rather. That would be the head, which would have taken about, say, 3 months to form, and then the right shoulder. So the question is, if this is a right shoulder, how long does it take to form? It could be a month or two. We're already a month into it. If the market rolls over now and spends November, as I say, trading down, breaks below 14,700, that would be negative. What did I have that neckline? 14,800 on that. So yeah, anyway, 14,800, 14,700 would be the big support level from the neckline. That breaks, then we're looking at some serious moves to the downside for the DAX. But we don't need to worry about that yet because it's not happened. But what has happened is clearly the market has been trading sideways, well, ever since April. Very difficult, very frustrating for bulls, especially when the US markets have been rocketing away. We are now, as I speak right now, only trading up around the sort of June, July highs, having dipped right back down to the May lows last month. Anyway, so clearly very frustrating. Yeah, that's really it. If we turn around now and we start forming a right shoulder, you know about that. If we continue higher, then the question is, do we get a double top? Look at that big, we've had some big negative candles when we probed up around that 16,000 level. Seems to be some sort of psychological level, that 16,000 level. So for bulls, we're really going to have to clear 16,000, hold above it. Well, this month, next month, whatever, certainly before the end of the year, if we want to start next year with a more optimistic outlook. The euro versus the US dollar. Sorry, the euro versus US dollar. What am I talking about? The EuroStoxx market. Let's have a look. Well, this is a little bit more positive for the bulls. We have been rocketing higher on the 4-hour chart. Let me just get rid of those trend line, those Fibonacci levels. Right. So this could also have turned out to be a head and shoulders pattern. This could have been a left shoulder. This could have been a head with a sort of double top head. That's not uncommon. And if the market started to roll over here, then I had the neckline. But of course, look, the EuroStoxx has broken higher now. Last week, I think we just made a new high, beating the previous, not all-time high, but we just about beat the September high right on the last day of October. And so the beginning of November, we are starting to push higher. Now, I haven't updated my fib levels on the weekly chart, which means that it's clearer that we've broken higher here, you can see. So a good strong last week in October, and then we're now breaking through what could have been a double top if we'd have not moved higher today. That could have been a double top with the Sep and October high, but we're pushing up. So that's good for the bulls. So maybe this is an indication of what will happen with the DAX eventually. We will slowly get through the previous all-time high and push up if we're to follow the EuroStoxx. So for now, at least the EuroStoxx looks pretty positive. Let's put that on a bigger scale. Actually, we're going to have to put that on a monthly chart just to see where we are in comparison to the historic all-time high, which you can see we're nowhere near. We now, well, obviously the next big level is around 4,600. So that's a good 350 points away when you look at it on a very, very long-term perspective. We could get there. Maybe that's where we're going to now. You look at the monthly chart. We had this bearish engulfing candle in September. Now that was worrying, and I was thinking, right, this is it. The market really is going to roll over. But look at this. Massive bullish engulfing candle to follow. That's quite rare. I don't see that very, very often. But that certainly caught the bears out, and we now look very, very strong for the EuroStoxx with a break higher only today. Let's have a quick look at the FTSE. Right, I'm going to finish up with the FTSE, which is also breaking higher, although not very convincingly, really. Very frustrating for bulls. Here we go. So there's the daily chart. Clearly we're in a bull trend, but long periods of sideways action. Again, what can I say? I'm kind of lost for words, aren't I? 72.17 was the previous high. We're through that, but just not very convincingly. It's a real struggle. I feel sorry for FTSE investors who haven't had it very good at all. But look, maybe they're about to make some money, and maybe we are about to go higher. I just what can I say? Put a trend line on here, I guess, and say that we need to hold above that trend line, which we kind of are. That trend line is at 71.80 for the December FTSE. So as long as we hold above there, everything's all right. If we were to break down, then we definitely would want the 100-day moving average to do its thing as a support level around the sort of 70, 80, 70, 60 area. Anyway, look, I'll be updating the reports every day, but I just, what can you do with that? There is no clear pattern. There is a trend and it's bullish and we've broken higher, and that's really all I have to go on. Hope that's helpful, but not really much to say. Anyway, EuroStoxx hopefully is leading us higher, and the FTSE and the Dax will follow. FTSE certainly looks like it should, even though it's going to be a slow climb higher. DAX, we have to wait and see if a head and shoulders pattern forms or a double top pattern. Bulls will need that break above 16,000, as I say. Okay, good luck with it.